Good morning. This is the July 7th meeting of the College Partnership Laboratory School Standing Committee. I'm Joan Wadiska, the chair of the Standing Committee, and I'd like to welcome everyone to today's meeting. I will now call our meeting to order. We will begin this morning as typical with a moment of silence, followed by a pledge of allegiance. If the members of the committee would please join me in standing for a moment of silence, and we can begin. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll now move to the approval of the agenda. The members of the Standing Committee were provided a copy of the agenda in advance of the meeting. At this time, I'd like to remove item B. If there's a motion to approve the agenda as amended with removal of item B. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries and the agenda is approved as amended. At this time, we'll move to the approval of the minutes. The members of the Standing Committee were provided the minutes from the June 2023 meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented to the Standing Committee?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it, motion carries and the minutes are approved. And I believe we have Mr. Bailey here as well. Good morning. Good morning. Very good to see you, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Chapman, would you mind getting me a motion to approve Mr. Bailey's remote participation?
Yes, I believe that that we don't need a motion. It's just your approval under the board's bylaws.
Okay, that's right. Thank you.
But we will note in the minutes
you.
that he is more than 60 miles away from the meeting location, and so falls under the Freedom of Information Act exemption.
Without objection, Mr. Bailey, it is my pleasure to have you remotely participate in this meeting, acknowledging that you are within the code of compliance within the code of more than 60 miles away from your residence. Thank you. All right. At this time, we would move to public comment on the agenda. We have no public comment on the items before us, so we can move forward to items for action and discussion. And we're going to begin with item A today, which is final review of the College Partnership Laboratory School application from the Virginia Commonwealth University. We are joined today by both Dr. Raley, the Chief of Staff here at the Department of Education, who is going to be coming in talking to us on this item if necessary to answer any additional questions, as well as the committee is going to hear from Dr. McKnight, who is a representative from VCU, who will be further discussing the application. Dr. McKnight, welcome. Please join us.
Good morning. How are you? Good to be with you. I was told there is, am I good with the clicker or?
If we pull up the presentation.
There it is.
Excellent.
All you?
You are our first official presentation at second review, which is very exciting. And part of our interest in having you further come and present today is to answer again questions that the committee members may have on your application, to again get a deeper understanding of the intention of your lab school, and then hopefully to help prepare you for what will be a presentation before the State Board of Education. So with that, please proceed with your presentation.
Great. Good morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's great to be back. And my partner, Dr. Kumi Goranson, is currently out of the country, so I will try my best to make her proud. So we really are excited about this opportunity because as we think about the future of teaching, leading, and learning, we believe that this lab school has the opportunity to rethink the future. We know we're in a critical shortage. Can you all hear me? Are we good? Okay. And we really need to think about innovative ways, we know that teacher working conditions are student learning conditions. And as we think about innovative and comprehensive access, we want to think about computer science integration and workforce development. But at the same time, think about strong preparation as well as mentorship for teachers. And so as we look at the overview, we'll go over what RTR is, what is Code RVA, address the committee feedback, and then open it up for questions. Sound like a good plan? All right, so what is RTR? Formerly known as Richmond Teacher Residency, we began as a partnership with Richmond Public Schools, and we're now in 16 school divisions across Virginia. We've prepared 314 teachers in high need schools and trained over 239 mentors. We're very proud of our graduates. They've gone on to become leaders in the school divisions. The current Richmond Teacher of the Year is one of our both graduates and mentors. Last year's was one of our mentors. The year before that was one of our graduates. And so when we think about what is a teacher residency, it's based on a medical residency model, and we're paying people to get a degree in education, and they're in a mentor teacher's classroom from the first day of teacher work week until the last day of school for a gradual release of responsibility. So over time, they've gotten to see the entire school year, so they feel prepared. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what that after the supports as well as the framework. So our proudest statistic that I like to say is 99% of our mentors said that being a mentor in RTR made them a more effective teacher. We talk a lot about recruitment into the profession, but I think we also need to focus on the retention. And we know that being a leader in the classroom gives a strong reason to stay. When we follow all of our graduates, because we've been federally funded for 12 years, we make sure to do an extensive evaluation. And the number one reason we do exit surveys for everyone, and it's the lack of administrative support, which is why we created a school leader residency. And in our lab school proposal, we talked about a school leader intern, where a person will get a postmaster's certificate in educational leadership while working alongside rockstar school leaders like Dr. Goranson. And so over time, they'll also learn what school leadership looks like. And our framework, when we think about mentoring, it's professional voice, instructional support, and social emotional learning. For us, it's all about amplifying teacher joy and the love of teaching, but also teaching about advocacy and leadership while at the same time feeling supported. We're a training site for the new teacher center coaching model, which is one of two models in the What Works Clearinghouse for evidence-based practices. And so after they finish their residency year, we provide 2 years of career coach support. This is not evaluative. It's really a way to support every week. And then the last piece of this is as we think about the future, and at Code RVA alone, we already have 2 residents that will be there working alongside rockstar teachers that are at Code RVA. So what is Code RVA? We're really excited about this partnership because they've been able to serve a diverse population in 15 school divisions. They've been doing this through a lottery system, as well as through an extended day schedule with the 6 weeks for both remediation and or acceleration. And so what we love is the idea that students can earn an associate's degree or up to 30 credits of dual enrollment credit. And that's also where we see a huge opportunity with a partnership with VCU as we continue to expand those opportunities. And so one of the parts that we wanted to address was family engagement. And I will say this is a topic near and dear to my heart. This is what I wrote my dissertation on, is around trust between families and teachers. And as we think about communication, empathy, and trust, we know that families want their child to have the best life that they can. And for this, it's all about partnerships. And so from the residency side, we really are trying to train future teachers to represent both the opportunities of partnerships with families, because we know that they are a student's first teacher, and we also know that they know their child best. And so for us, as we think about how we train future teachers, many people go into education for the content. They might not get into education for the family side of this, but we have to take both the student and the family collectively. And so for us, it's about the mindset of training future teachers. As we think about what Code RVA already does, what I love about this is, due to their geographic area and how many people they serve, they seek to meet families' busy schedules for in-person and virtual events. They have a very active PTSA, the Raptor School Counseling Advisory. They live stream all of their meetings as well as send out recordings and weekly newsletters. And so for us, we think about how do we continue to build partnerships with families, because we know that we can't meet students without meeting families too. And so the other point was around increasing within the Latin community. What we're excited about, again, with partnerships with VCU, is that the president of the Richmond LULAC is one of the professors at VCU. We're very excited, not just about the intentional recruitment going to the communities, but also that we just received, we're the only ones in Virginia to receive an Augustus F. Hawkins Center of Excellence federal grant since we last saw you all. And so what does that look like? So for us, it's to increase our multilingual ambassador program, which focuses on high schools, and it's a focus on Latin students. We also are really going to put an emphasis on bilingual and multilingual learners and their families to think about the recruitment in the teaching profession, but also to get them more comfortable within the school setting. And so we're really excited that every graduate will receive a free ESOL endorsement as part of this grant. And so again, as we think about where we go from here, we're excited to hit both of those points that were addressed last time. And the last is sustainability. As you can see with our budget, we decrease significantly from year 1 to year 5, because for us, it's a combination of federal, state, school division, VCU, philanthropic, and corporate partnerships to ensure financial sustainability. We've been very fortunate to receive every year the General Assembly funds for the teacher residency line item, where there is a 33% cost share for school divisions. We are also looking at registered apprenticeships through Department of Labor. And our goal is that we invest on the front end for high quality teachers so that it's for the long haul, both the new teachers and veteran teachers, instead of a Band-Aid approach of trying to help provisionally licensed teachers once they're already responsible for students. And so this little bit more on the future plans of apprenticeship. For us, it's really the idea that you should earn while you learn. Everyone should be able to get paid to become a teacher. And we are right now in a crisis when we think about our teacher shortage. And we want to make sure that we are allowed to have candidates have a living and be able to, again, learn, and they're also able to get a salary and benefits. And so that's where we really can build upon our proven success of the RTR model while they become employees of the school division. So in closing, I think about this idea of these questions of what does the future of teaching, leading, and learning look like? And I stand here with immense gratitude and optimism. I'm hopeful that as we continue to explore these questions, we celebrate the successes, we learn from the challenges, and move forward with a steadfast resolve to make an even greater impact in the years to come, because our students deserve it. Thank you for your time, and I'm here for questions.
Dr. McKnight, that was excellent. Thank you. You've been a wonderful ambassador on behalf of Code RVA and VCU today, rest assured.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd love to see if we have any questions from our committee members. And Dr. Moran? Yep.
I'm really interested, Dr. McKnight, that thank you. In your original proposal, and I asked this question last time, that you had checked all the boxes PK-12.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering again, how do you plan to target? You've got Code RVA, middle school and elementary components of that model as spaces where people can do residency work.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Moran, for the question. So I think the first part, we're very excited. Last time we spoke about the EIR grant that's coming out. We are in the middle of writing that, and that would be the first that we think about a hub. So as we look across Region 1, one of the school divisions that did not partner was Surrey County, and it was geographically too far away from Code RVA where they didn't want to send students with that long bus ride. So the first thing we're doing for the EIR grant is to write a hub model model where we would have a mini code RVA, if possible, within Surrey County, and then it could serve all of the surrounding school divisions there. So the superintendent is thrilled about this opportunity. So that's the first one as we think about a satellite school within a school model. And that's what we think when we talk about middle school, elementary. The work that's being done in Winchester County, we've sent some of our staff to the Center for Teacher Leadership to the Metrics project that's taking place. And it's phenomenal work with computer science integration throughout their school. And that's an elementary school. And so what it shows me is that you can use models that already exist at the elementary model. And then really it's bringing it up from 5th grade to 6th grade to get to the middle school model. And then from Code RVA starting at 9th, take it down to 8th, and then we'll work on that 7th grade. The beauty of Dr. Goranson coming from the middle school, she oversaw all of middle school leadership in Chesterfield County. And she started a school within a school at Bailey Bridge Middle with Summit Learning. And that's really what built into Code RVA, having this asynchronous component, as well as one-on-one personalized learning. So again, we already have experience with this. It's really being able to then take the model. And then my background as a kindergarten teacher in elementary, we really want to then take it down from kindergarten down to pre-K, because we believe that as we think about computer science, it can start very early in coding. I have a 3-year-old and she already thinks about parts of those, the screens, and she knows how to use a lot of technology already. And so I think we need to start early so that everybody can see themselves as a computer scientist.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other members of the committee? Mr. Hanson?
I just want to say thank you and appreciate all the work that's gone into this with your partners, and just a terrific collaboration. So just really thank you for what you're doing, especially for the kids.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Bailey?
Just thank you. I'm excited about this proposal for a number of different reasons. Could you just, and I think you said it and I missed it, but can you just remind me that once a teacher has completed a residency, what you aim in terms of retention, in terms of folks staying in the teaching profession versus those that might end up pursuing something else?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. So pre-COVID, we were 80% were still in the profession over 5 years. Since then, we are now at like 70%, 3 or more years. And so for us, it's really about those wraparound supports. One of the case studies that we want to do, again, as we think about this lab school, a high focus on the evaluation of this. And so from our first cohort of RTR 12 years ago, it started with a group of 9 in Richmond Public Schools. 2 of them are still there today, and 7 within those 7 that have left Richmond, some of them are still in education. I think it's 3. So as we think about why is it that these 2 individuals have still stayed at some of the hardest to staff schools, we want to follow those individuals too as case studies to think about that for practices for wraparound. And one of the things I'll say is Graham, who is one of our first cohort members, he is at Armstrong High School in Richmond, and we have this sort of mini RTR there now because there's so many. And so we're really talking about systems thinking as far as just the network mapping. And so we think that's part of this when we talk about why are people staying. And so we believe cohorts are really important. So getting back to your question of the actual numbers, it's 70% with 3 or more, but we also really want to think about the why behind the numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. So, you know, this is such a lovely moment for me personally. I remember being at the signing ceremony with Governor McAuliffe when we created Code RVA. And it is such a beautiful, it was such a powerful investment at that time into an innovative model. And it is really lovely to see the maturity that model has undergone, the refinements, and that you're here today to further share this opportunity with students in the Commonwealth. So I just want to say, like, on a personal level, I just remember being there signing, you know, as the governor was signing to help create Code RVA with the support of the General Assembly. And here we are many years later, and this opportunity is going to be brought to more students. and to really help to also bring more individuals into the teaching profession in a way where they feel confident and competent and well prepared for the rigor that is today's classroom. So that's just a special moment I'm having for myself. I also want to compliment you on being really thoughtful in answering questions from the committee members, as well as your back and forth deliberation with the VDOE team. You have really set a high bar and provided a strong model for other lab schools, potential lab school applicants across the state, particularly around the area of family engagement. You've really approached this from a multimodal. I love that you're thinking about open houses and utilization of newsletters and meeting parents where they're at and guardians and really engaging them in meaningful and multiple different ways where you're going in to meet with families versus having them come to you. And I think that makes all the difference. And recognizing and honoring that the parents are the first teacher for every child, and that schools are really a partner in that work. And we need to first and foremost meet with families. So I want to thank you for that. And as well as to congratulate you on being recognized as a Hawkins Center of Excellence, the first in the Commonwealth. That is spectacular. And just one more feather in the cap of the amazing work that you are doing and the appropriate recognition that it deserves. So thank you very much for that. So no questions, merely comments. But I wanted to just thank you for that. So at this time, I think what I'd like to do is if there is a motion to recommend this application and to refer it to the State Board of Education for review for the creation of a lab school.
Go for it.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Enthusiastically. Aye.
Noted. Any opposed? With that, it is my pleasure to report the vote, which is you are approved. And we look forward to developing a report that will be sent to the State Board of Education with our recommendation therein. We will make sure that staff meet with you, let you know when the next State Board of Education meeting will commence, and then we will walk you through and explain what the process will be for next steps. So thank you very much for being brave today and throughout this process. Innovation was started many years ago, and thank you for continuing to move forward with us.
Thank you so much.
All right. At this time, we are going to move to what was previously item C, but is now item B, which is final review of revisions to the College Partnership Laboratory School application. This item will be presented by Mr. Chapman, Director of Board Relations. Mr. Chapman.
Thank you, Ms. Wadiska, Dr. Moran, and Mr. Hanson, Mr. Bailey. Great to see you this morning, and what a fun moment to see, have been working with this committee and to see the growth in the application process and arriving at this moment. Congratulations certainly to Code RVA and VCU. Very fun moment to see. It's fun now that you've approved, or this committee has seen its first application move through the process, to continue to retroduct and go back to the beginning and continue to refine the application that we're working with. You have seen this application, the revisions of the application, a few times, I believe dating back to a meeting in April, and then for first review in June. The application looks largely the same as it did in June, with the following additions that I would like to highlight for you. That a table of contents has been added to the application for ease of use. This is finally updated into a modern file format, so that hopefully all of our applicants, no longer hindered by the decade-old version of Word, can now work collaboratively if they're using SharePoint or other Microsoft, part of the Microsoft suite. We have made some adjustments to the assessment questions in element 3. These would be questions 10 through 13 on page 11. Just again, for clarity, to make sure we're capturing information about all of the balanced assessments that we require, and even asking questions there about engagement with families. We have also fixed and updated a couple more grammatical issues and at least one term to make sure that we're not just asking about parents, but parents and guardians, referring consistently to family engagement. And so those changes have been made, and I believe that is the balance. If Ms. Vaneski, I believe, is on the Teams chat, do you have anything that I've missed?
I I think you captured everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chapman and Ms. Vineski. And I really want to say this has been a tremendous effort by the staff to refine this application. And a great application makes for greater ease for the applicants. It helps inform them on the requirements, helps educate them, and helps improve the quality of the applications before the committee. So I'm grateful for your steadfast patience and persistence through this process. And one of the things that we have said since the very beginning of our work is that we're going to be all collectively learning as we go through this. And one of the ahas that we've had through the application process with the very first two applicants was the importance of further refining the application. And I suspect that we will see further revisions to the application going forward. And we're really trying to model through our work here with both the committee and VDOE that process improvements and applying the learnings as they come. One of the additional items we're going to add to the application, and I'm going to give staff some freedom and to appropriately add this element, but in consultation with staff, we would like to add to the application a question as to legal review. We understand that many school divisions have the benefit or the opportunity of having a staff attorney, a school board attorney. Some don't, and they utilize the VSBA policy services and the VSBA legal services. And one of the things that we want to proactively help an applicant do is to ensure that in the development of their application, not just at the end, as a public service announcement for all school attorneys across the state, not just at the end, but in the development of the application, we really want to encourage applicants to consult with their school attorney. If it's a community college or college, their institutional attorneys, and to ensure compliance around federal and state requirements with a special emphasis, I would add, maybe even on things like FERPA. Right. So we're going to have staff add that element in an appropriate way. But I think that's going to just be a further refinement to help ensure that applicants are really doing their due diligence prior to coming through our process. And certainly we do our review. The staff do an amazing job through their review from the VDOE committee that's led by Dr. Raley for completeness and compliance. But I think this will be one more step to self-governance to ensure that on a local level, on a community level, that all the players are being included in part of the application review on the development side. There's my PSA for all school attorneys across the state. So if there's no objection to that from the committee members, and I don't, from our conversation, I don't perceive that would be the case. I feel
It's a critical, absolute, that getting to that green sometimes takes a minute. I think it's absolutely critical that legal review occur, because I think it will help to avoid, as a superintendent, former superintendent, I was always concerned that anything that went forward that was an application, whether it was to the federal DOE, to the state, that it needed to be compliant. And I think that that's essential, even though while we're encouraging innovation, we also have some rules that govern the work that we do. So thank you. I totally agree.
Well said, Dr. Moran.
Might I ask Ms. Wadiska if would you just delegate that revision to staff on its own, or with your approval once we and review once we find it?
We are going to delegate that
Perfect.
to you.
Thank
We're
you.
going to approve today
Okay.
with that notation.
Got it.
And as we've indicated, at any point in time through the process, as we have additional gifts of learning, we hope to see you again. But I know that this is an excellent revision and we're very enthusiastic about it. But should you need our attention to something in the future, please bring it back before this committee. All right. Hearing no further debate on this item, is there a motion to adopt changes to the application as presented by staff with the ability to delegate to staff the additional revision as just discussed?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, noting that Mr. Bailey is signifying aye with the hand raised. Thank you, Mr. Bailey. With that, the motion carries and the matter is approved. Thank you, Mr. Chapman and
Thank
Ms.
you.
Vineski for your assistance. All right, at this time, I want to move to discussion of current issues. Just to give you a preview of exciting things coming, because we're doing 2 meetings this month. At the end of July, the lab committee will meet again. We'll meet on the 31st. And we will have a special guest. We'll be reaching out. Staff is working with us to reach out and have a special guest from the International Association of Lab Schools. They're going to come and talk with the committee members about best in class, what makes for highly effective, sustainable, durable lab schools, and what lessons that we can learn not only from high quality lab schools across the United States, but also globally. So know that we have a special guest coming for the 31st. And please review with Mr. Chapman at the conclusion of this meeting, your participation in that meeting, just to ensure our quorum. Is there any discussion of other items at this time by committee members?
I have a couple that, and maybe one of them is not necessary, but I just wanted to bring it up. That I was in an event recently, and one of the folks that is helping to build a lab school application that they're in planning phase right now mentioned to me that they would probably have theirs ready within a month or two to come for first review. And it struck me that it would be helpful if we had some sense of, from the field, how people are putting themselves on the tarmac to be able to get their planes in the air for that first review, because I anticipate we could end up with 5 or 6 or 7 at one time, potentially all being ready. And that's going to demand that we really think differently about how we're going to, at our level, work through that process. So just wondering if there's a way to get some assessment of where do people see themselves in terms of being able to get to the step that VCU and Southside were at our last meeting.
That's a great insight, Dr. Moran. I think what we could ask Dr. Raley to do, and he's nodding, so I haven't been shooed off yet. What we could have Dr. Raley do with the staff member that it's overseeing the planning grant awardees is to surface that query to them and see if they have an estimated date by which they may be submitting an application. And maybe then at our 31st meeting, we could see this, if we're Chicago O'Hare, who might be coming in and when. I love that idea because, and Mr. Hansen has noted this as well, the value of seeing what's going on with the planning grants, because it really gives us a sense of workload and it helps the staff really understand how, if we know they're having a lot of applications coming too, then additional staff time can be cleared for those application reviews. So I think that is an excellent suggestion.
Yeah. It struck me because
That's great.
I was kind of caught off guard because I was thinking, oh, I'm not sure we really know that's true. So anyway, that, and then the other piece that I want to just laud the department for its work to try to build out, support almost a PLC network of the folks that are in the planning grant process. And I think that VCU and Code RVA now give us a prototype to help others say, okay, that's what the mark looks like to get through that second reading. So I just wanted to say thank you to staff, because I know that you're working shorthanded. You have a lot of balls in the air, but I appreciated getting that recent sort of update on different strategies and times when you're working to really have those planning grant folks working together so that they are learning together as they move forward.
Thank you, Dr. Moran. Comments from other members of the committee? Okay. At this time, we would move to public comment on non-agenda items. At our last meeting, Mr. Chapman, by way of follow-up, a member of the public requested assistance during a non-agenda item portion of the meeting. And for the benefit of the public, and to close the loop on this matter, I merely wanted to note that Mr. Chapman has personally followed up with a member of the public who was at our last committee meeting. He has answered questions and connected the member of the public with responses and resources at the Virginia Department of Education. And as I've heard from a number of the committee members, we are grateful for the personal attention and care that you provide and service to the public. So thank you for really being just a model of excellent customer service and engagement. So thank you, Mr. Chapman, for that care and kind attention. I really appreciate that. We all appreciate that. All right. Hearing no further business, we are adjourned. Thank you very much. Yay. Shortest one.